Okay, we can start now. 9. Your mic.
Yes, I know. I'm sorry. I was just trying to ask my boys to be silent for a minute or two. Okay, well, hello and welcome to yet another session of ICIE Talks. Today, our topic is gifted education in Turkey, and our very special guest is an amazing scholar and our wonderful friend, Gülşah Batdal Karaduman. She is here from Istanbul University. Sorry, Gülşah, 1 second. Okay, so Dr. Gülşah Batdal Karaduman is an assistant professor at Istanbul University. She completed her graduate studies at Hasan Ali Self Faculty of Education, Department of Elementary Teacher Education and Elementary Mathematics Teaching of Istanbul University. She completed her doctoral studies PhD at the Department of Special Education, Istanbul University Education Institute. The topic of her thesis was the effects of differentiated geometry curriculum for 5th grade gifted and talented students on creative thinking, spatial ability level, and achievement. She has presented papers at various international and national conferences on elementary education, mathematics teaching, creativity, special education, gifted and talented students, high-level thinking skills, and has written article sections for national and international publications. Also, she gives lessons at undergraduate, graduate, and doctoral degrees about these topics. She made serious contributions to special education and mathematics education in Turkey. She took part in various projects as an assistant, researcher, and teacher. So today with us is also Professor Taysir Yamin. He is an executive director of International Center for Innovation in Education, and he will give you a little bit more insight into today's topic. So Professor, go ahead.
Okay, thank you so much. Today's talk will address a number of topics relating to gifted education in Turkey. So first of all, Gülşah is going to talk about the origins and foundations of gifted education in this country, and how could we screen and identify potentially gifted people, the impact of different factors on gifted education, whether we are talking about social or economic or educational. And in addition to that, she is going to talk about current practices, special provisions and programs, and the future plans relating to gifted education in Turkey. And she will conclude also in this lecture about legislation and policies relating to gifted education. She is in this field of knowledge since a long time, since a long period of time. And she came from mathematics background, but she made a very good contribution to this field of knowledge. Gülşah, you are more than welcome to join us for today, and the platform now is yours.
Thank you. Thank you for Professor Taysir Yamin. And first of all, I want to share my presentation. Sorry, yes. Yes. First of all, thank you for you very much, Professor Taysir Yamin, for giving me this opportunity. It is very proud for me take the ICIE talks with you, and thank you for all participations for the taking the time to listen to me, and also especially thanks to for Nana, my friend Nana, and I would like to make this presentation face to face, but I hope the COVID pandemic will be end soon. I will talk about the historical process of gifted education in Turkey with you today, and that's why my slides have lots of writing. So thank you for your patience. And first of all, I want to talk my contents about my presentations. I will talk about the time before Islam, and then the Palace School, its name was the Endorun, and then Turkey Republic periods, and science and art centers in Turkey, and resource rooms, and then lots of educational institutions for the gifted students. And I will end off the conclusion. And first of all, state administration new discovered self-development of the country is occurred on the hands of gifted and talented peoples. These gifted and talented peoples are most important fortune and riches of Turkey nation when they consider their characteristics of creativity. If we couldn't education these people, you know, well, that will be in the big loss for the country. So there were lots of researches about the education of gifted people in the history. Gifted education in Turkey has undergone dramatic changes in recent years. Historically, Turkish culture has a long and fruitful relationship with terms like gifted or talented. Yet the formal definitions of these terms emerge only after the close interaction with Western societies. Turkey's historical roots go back to Central Asia, and they had a nomadic lifestyle back then. As a result of the nomadic lifestyle and the influence of shamanism, the old Turks valued survival abilities, combat skills, and leadership as the characteristics of exceptional people. There exists a number of folk tales and epic stories having heroes and showed these exceptional characteristics. And when the Central Asian Turks started the migration toward Anatolia and converted to Islam, the shamans of exceptional people were alerted too. Although martial skills and leadership characteristics were still valued, merits like wisdom, humor, problem solving, and most significantly spiritual abilities began being underlined more. And after the Islam, and we opened the Endorun, the palace schools, and the first studies about the education of gifted students were started at Endorun during the Ottoman time in Turkey. In the past, Endorun schools were in a way exceptional student schools. Students were carefully selected, taking into account their capacities and intelligence, and were trained in the challenging way for many years. The one of the work who completed successfully this school were employed at the top positions in the state governance. And Endorun was established under the Sultan's support and adulting. Endorun means in the part of the palace. Ottoman Empire was based on military, and you know, the main aim of this foundation was educate talented commander for army and strong management people for the governance such diverse religion and cultural society for the continuation spring empire. Most of the important people in government, commanders, artists, poets, politicians were educated in this school. And another important and interesting point of this education system was giving priority to personal characteristics from the view today's education. Devşirme students who showed important talent and knowledge in some certain areas, they education that areas in this school. Devşirme in Turkish, it means recruiting, gathering boys non-Muslim origin for the corps and government. The students change the different jobs in the government and army according to their talents after the graduation. They were educated with creativity teaching in mathematics and other courses. And after the Turkey Republic period, education of gifted students started before the Republic and had grown well under foundation of Turkish Republic. Creativity wasn't used in this school so much these days, and we see different kinds of gifted education uplinked state school and special schools. After the proclamations of the Republic in Turkey, important steps have been taken for the educations of gifted individuals in the different files. Atatürk initiated many practice in order to eliminate the deficiencies in education in his newly established country. One of them, these steps, the Village Institute. The Village Institute was established in 1940. Students were selected among the most creative and successful students in mathematics, science, and art, and other lessons in the villages. Ministry of the National Education thought they wanted to start whole country development starting from the village. Creativity activities were held in these schools, and government had to close them due to strong pressure from the society and some political reasons in 1950. And then the Ankara Science and High School opened. In 1964, Ankara Science High School began its mission of the Turkish education system. One of the missions was serve as a laboratory school for developing modern science and mathematics programs. And its second mission was prepare the students as researchers and scientists. Science High School aims to create qualified scientists, particularly in the nature science and math domains. Science High School has a specific curriculum that enables enrichment and course-based acceleration, particularly for science and math courses. At the same time, it's aimed to improve the creativity of the students, especially in science and mathematics. And then the next implementations were special pull-out classes and ability grouping classes. In 1960, special pull-out classes opened in Ankara several public elementary schools. First of all, specialists from the Central Evaluation and Testing Bureau used a test battery to determine the children's ability levels. After the selection, they applied the special creativity programs to the children. And however, all these clusters were set up step by step until 1972. And then the Anatolian high schools are designed for the selected children. And in these schools, education is in English and German. In 1955, first Anatolian high school was opened, and students of these schools have been selected by central exam, and they are now well-known public high school all over Turkey. As you can see, there are some direct and indirect implementations for the gifted and mathematics students. And then I want to talk about the Scientific and Technological Research Council of Turkey. It's in Turkish TÜBİTAK, we know, is the leading agency for the management, funding, and conduct of research in Turkey. It was established in 1963 with a mission to advance science and technology, conduct research, and support Turkish researchers. The council is an autonomous institution, and it's governed by scientific board whose members are selected from prominent scholars from universities, industry, and research institutions. TÜBİTAK is responsible for promoting, developing, organizing, and conducting and coordinating research and develop in the line with national targets with priorities. And furthermore, TÜBİTAK funds research projects carried out in universities and other public and private organizations, conduct research in science strategic areas, develop support programs for public and private sectors, publishes scientific journal, popular science magazines and books, organizes science and society activities, and supports undergraduate and graduate students through scholarship. Also, you can see their website. And then with the Science and Art Center, the education and creativity students of the gifted people have accredited, because there are lots of broadly studies in gifted education and creativity in Turkey. Permanent students about gifted education started in 1993, and opening science and art centers idea was come up. And this project was started under the name of the Science and Art Centers. Currently, there are 182 Science and Art Centers, and nearly all provides, and 63,000 students benefit from these centers. In this way, they started well-organized education models for our gifted students under the law projections after long years passed. These centers supported by Ministry of National Education. And the most important advantage of this model is gifted education can attend their own school with friends. They are aware their talent, and they can develop their talents in these centers with creativity teaching, and when they are continuing their schools. Science and art centers carries out the education process of the primary school, secondary school, and the high school students who continue formal education with their peers. Except for their formal education, that students are educated in the fields of the general mental ability, painting, and music. The increase in the number of the science and art centers every year shows that this area is developing. And science and art centers offer content-based education and project-based education activities in accordance with the interests and talents of the students. And also individuals educated at the science and art centers are given education in relation to adaptations, support, recognition of the individual abilities, and project developments and management. Those students who have distinguishes artistic skills are first educated in the adaptation programs, and then they join the programs designed to improve their skills. In the latter program, there is a teaching plan in which there's a rich variety of scientific and artistic activities. Such education programs at the science and art centers are implemented by teachers. So teacher is very important for the science and art centers students. The level of creativity, fostering levels of the teachers of the gifted students is high. These results may be due to some criteria being sought in the selection of the teachers to import at science and art centers. The application includes training on gifted students and postgraduate education, foreign language, published books or articles, national and international papers, projects, and the results of the interviews. And one of the another application is research rooms. The research rooms is used to enrichment strategy that aims to serve students with special needs at grade levels in Turkey. And these rooms were opened in schools in 2015. It aims to support all students with special needs, as well as gifted students that were included in this group by regulations. The Special Education Service law obligates school administrations to open resource rooms when it's documented that there are gifted students in the school. Eligibility intelligence test scores are valid for the identification. Currently, the identification process for research rooms is run by guides and research centers. Research rooms are meant to provide individual curriculum differentiation for which are there in individual education programming team in every school. And resource rooms mean they provide gifted students with a more detailed and richer content. Also, students expect to experience the more sophisticated and complex thinking process. And after that, educational institution gifted students. We have a lot of also private schools for the gifted students in Turkey. One of them, the Yeni Ufuklar School was opened in 1991. Students are enrolled to kindergarten by ability test, and after the year of careful observation, those who can start the first year curriculum are determined. According to the regulation, this table, besides education, Turkish, English, art, music, sports, drama, and creativity course are given by American teachers. And then second provide schools is Inanç High School. The Inanç Foundation established this boarding secondary school in 1993 for the gifted students, gifted children who came from the poverty. And there is a great similarity between the curriculum of the Inanç and the Science High School. And also the Research Development Training and Application Center High School was established in 2017 to provide education for gifted students. The aim of the school is to realize individuals who are the leaders and in science and art in the world. It is the school affiliate the Ministry of the Education. And also my teacher, Professor Dr. Ümit Davaslıgil is aware of how gifted people are important for the development of the country. She established the first gifted education department in Hasan Ali Yücel Education Faculty at Istanbul University in 2002. And this program helps to provide different differential education for gifted students and provide well education environments that start from their elementary education. And teacher candidates are taking elementary education course, and they are taking extra courses about how define gifted children characteristics, prepare education program for gifted students recruitments, and how to help develop of gifted children creativity and critical minds, and courses about gifted children emotional and social development. Also, gifted education department started the give master after 2003 and a PhD program 2006, and also I graduated this PhD program. And then Gifted Students Master Program was opened at Eskişehir University, Eskişehir Anadolu University by Professor Dr. Uğursak in 2006. The education program for the talented students was founded at Anadolu University in 2007, and mathematically and scientifically talented students are offered a university-based after-school programs at the education program for the talented students. Fifth to eighth grade gifted students take advanced and accredited science and math course at this program. It was accredited by the European Council of the Highest Ability as a European Talent Center in 2015. And this program is a unique model for the curriculum and identification. The education program for the talented students model has also been tested in several studies, and it has found to be effective in developing gifted students' creativity and in mathematics and science. And one of the most important students made recently conquers the development of the first national intelligence scale called Anadolu Sak Intelligence Scale, which is the base on the general intelligence theory and the Cater-Horn-Carroll theory and the planning, attention, arousal, simulations, and successive theory. And the Ministry of Education has assigned a protocol to use the test as one of the principal intelligence tests for the identified, gifted, and talented children. In science and art centers exams, second and third grades, the first domestic intelligence scale of our country is used. These tests are done in the company of an expert. And also in Turkey, we have a lot of child universities. Child university is a concept scientific to Turkey, and corresponds to the after school and summer programs offered by some universities. Some of these programs offer education to gifted and talented learners, mostly aged between 10 to 17. Students are offered a different course that can choose according to their interest. The courses are given by the university's academicians and range from the archaeology, genetics, physics, and math and linguistics. While these courses provide the enriched learning environment for students due to their students and interest, they don't provide extra credits for further university life. Child universities run weekend, summer, and winter programs, and there are currently 20 child universities located in different differentiations in the country. And after I mentioned differentiate education program about creativity history in our country above. It started Enduron and today continuing in some schools and art and science centers. They have kinds of different differential education program. Everybody aware that our country can lose lots of things if we don't consider about the gifted students education with creativity. Creativity is, considered as one of the basic characteristics of being gifted. So Turkey has shown significant improvements in many years in many areas in recent years. However, the education of the gifted students couldn't reach the favorable level in Turkey. Until the 20th century, there wasn't enough and extensive implementations. Parents and teachers of students suggest different ideas and secure subjects, teaching based and evaluation of learning, and these suggestions affect evaluations of current teaching and teaching outcomes in gifted education. Schools should also offer differentiated curriculum program for the talented students. Therefore, teachers need to know more about the characteristics of the gifted children, teaching models and strategies, techniques, and differentiation strategies in order to meet to the related students' educational needs. Researchers should develop the teacher training programs for the service or pre-service teachers in the order to increase teachers' competence, and they should examine the effects of the programs. And also in the conclusion, according to importance, I can enumerate the implementations as follows. We need to increase the number of the schools where gifted students can have the special education about their needs, and differential programs must be well investigated for study and studied specialists people in education have to develop a new curriculum and program for the gifted students at schools, and teachers have to attend seminars about the creativity and gifted students. Ministry of the Education, National Education has developed common differentiations programs about the creativity as concerning Enduron and village institute system and students' personal demands. And thank you for your patience.
Thank you so much for this wonderful presentations. No, it was really beautiful. To me, I was just writing so much down about all the extracurricular activities that you have, like the science centers and the university programs. And I feel like a lot of amazing things are actually coming out of your universities. Like you have MA and PhD programs, you have these summer programs, you have these after school programs. But it seems like you need more work to be done in the actual education systems where kids go to school every day and where they learn on a daily basis. Okay, so my job is to facilitate the Q&A.
Before we go to the questions, I would like just to summarize in addition to what Nana said, that as you see, Gülşah shed light on a large number of activities and initiatives that took place in the country during a long period of time, starting from or based on the importance of gifted education for the country and for human beings. So this is first. So she went back in the history when gifted education used to be introduced under the religious authority, and it used to take place in mosques or the surroundings. So people used to transfer knowledge according to this format. And also they used to take care or to concentrate or focus on people who have certain characteristics and they have abilities in science, math, or arts. Of course, since the founder of the Republic, Ataturk, then after that it becomes more formal education for the highly able students. Then they start to concentrate on schools and other institutions. Of course, she mentioned a number of initiatives like the Anatolian schools and where they teach both Turkish and German language in addition to focusing on sciences and math. And she mentioned TÜBİTAK, and TÜBİTAK is one of the most important foundations in the country because this foundation is responsible for resources management. And they offer like scholarships, they offer funding for research, and they promote young scholars. So this is very important institution. And I have been there and I met with these people and I feel they are doing very important job in this country. And also she was talking about the science and art centers. And these centers are very important. And as you see from the numbers, they are serving more than 63,000 students from different grade levels. And also this is under the supervision of the Ministry of National Education, which means the Ministry of Education. And also she was talking about how these students could enroll or join these centers based on previous screening and identification. The most important thing she mentioned about the resource rooms, because these resource rooms are available for students from K to 12 in different schools. And this is very important. In such schools, they are offering two types of programs, whether in the context of cooperative learning or individualized programs. And of course, in this case, you have to offer differentiated curricula or enriched materials. And she was talking about a school, it is called Yani Ufuklar School, and which means the school with a new horizon, because Ufuk in Turkish language means horizon and Yani means new. So 1991, and this is good development. And another school. Then she was talking about academic gifted programs, and she mentioned that Omid Dawaslagil, she was responsible for establishing the academic program at Istanbul University in the Hassan Ali Yücel faculty. And after 2003, they used to offer MA program, and in 2006, they start to offer a PhD program. Of course, she mentioned one of my colleagues and friends. His name is Ursak, and he is in Anadolu University. And in Anadolu University, they established another academic program, which is very important one. And of course, in coordination between the European Council for High Ability, Omid Dawaslagil, Gülşah, Ursak, and other people, they managed to establish a large number of what they call talent centers. And the European Talent Centers, it is like centers who are responsible for developing academic talent. And of course, she mentioned two developments, because Ursak managed to establish or to develop what we call it Anadolu-SAC intelligence scale. And he was also responsible for another tool to measure creativity, but there is no time now to consider this. And think about what Gülşah said about what we call child university. And this is unique because when you allow the university to accommodate young people from different schools to join the university and to attend a number of courses in different topics or in different fields of knowledge, then you can imagine the impact of the university on the development of the society at large. So this is an idea we would like to have it and to see it in different countries where the university took responsibility and tried to offer the platform, the right platform for the young people. Of course, as you see from this presentation, we have a large number of activities and in different places of the country. Sometimes you see it in science and art centers, resource rooms, child university, in addition to schools who are specialized in gifted education and so on. Last but not least, she mentioned the importance of capacity building programs that we have to offer for teachers, whether in service or pre-service, because in service, when we have teachers in the business, and then we have to offer the right capacity building programs in order to develop their skills or their competences, because they have to have certain competences to be able to serve the gifted in different grade levels. And of course, the pre-service, it should be the responsibility of the universities. Now, I would like to conclude. She recommended that we have to think about, first of all, how could we increase the number of schools designed to meet the special needs of the gifted. And these schools are designed to meet both cognitive and educational needs on one side, and on the other hand, or on the other side, they are designed to meet their social and psychological needs. The other recommendation was how could we offer enrichment programs and then capacity building programs to strengthen teachers. And all in all, they are under the supervision of the Ministry of Education, universities, and other institutions. So I will give the platform to my colleague and friend, Nana, to coordinate the sessions and give the opportunity to the participants to ask their questions. Thank you so much, Gülşah. Thank you so much, Nana.
Thank
Great.
you. Thank you for your
Okay, so thank you so much. I already see that there's some questions in the chat. However, if somebody would like to ask a question, you can just raise your hand and we will give you the platform to ask a question in person, or you can, of course, send a message in the chat. But just to keep on topic from what Professor Yamin was just saying, I'm going to skip one question and go straight to Robert Thorne, who asked, what can we take from the discoveries in Turkish education to the classes in regular schools?
Yes, in our state schools, we have, I mentioned the resource rooms. The resource rooms resource rooms were opened more complement for the gifted in the schools. So if we have in the regular class, if we have the gifted students in the regular class, first of all, we talk to their families and teachers, and then we make this some tests about their intelligence or their abilities in other sections. So and then we can make some programs, enrichment programs, differentiation programs at the research rooms. And maybe after that, they can go to the science and art centers after the school.
So you can say that I will add, to this, because also I am familiar with the system, to what, Gülşah said. that the byproducts of gifted education find their way to the regular classroom and the schools. Because universities are open and they have good contacts with different schools. So you can say if we produce differentiated materials or enriched materials, then it can be spread, or they can be used in different schools. So this is one thing. The other thing, the academic programs, they graduate people who are working in regular schools and regular classrooms. So they transfer this knowledge in their practices, and they do practices in the regular school or the classroom.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, so there's one more question that tags on to the previous one, and then there's a couple of ones around identification and about definition. So I will first ask this one that's related to learning from the experience. And this one is coming from Mauia. So she also says, how can children in ordinary schools profit from Turkish experience? And what type of training programs do you think we should provide to teachers within regular classrooms, so to enable them to recognize students with outstanding abilities?
Sorry, can I take the questions again?
Yes. So it is basically, how can the children in regular classrooms benefit from lessons learned with these outside programs? More specifically, what training do you think that we should provide for the teachers to help them recognize the abilities?
Yes, for teachers, we organize some course and seminars about creativity techniques. For example, in Turkey, so many teachers use the brainstorming and scamper and metaphors, or success head techniques and concept maps techniques in their lessons, and we organize some different course and seminar programs with their schools, and we teach to how to use these techniques, and also how can they learn about creativity to their students.
Great, thank you. We have another question from a participant who is asking, can we agree on a definition of gift and giftedness? So she talks a little bit more about her perspective, about what she feels. So she says that it's the possession of special potential in a subject. I'm not sure, that has no specific pillars, but I'm not sure about the meaning of that. But
okay, I will take this question, because when we try to define the conception of giftedness, then we have to think about different components, because normally we employ what we call multiple criteria definition for the conception of giftedness. And that means, and this is also based on the definition proposed by Joseph Renzulli in Connecticut University. So the first component means high ability, and high ability as measured by any ability measure, for example, intelligence test, or something similar. So this is one thing. The other thing, we have to measure what we call potential creativity. And this is like he or she has a certain level of creativity. Then we have to think about the third component, which is achievement. And achievement could be measured by a standardized achievement test, or we can have an idea about the achievement level based on the school record. And of course, achievement is associated with what we call task commitment and high level of motivation. And then, in addition to that, to complete the picture and to have the right profile, we have to find out the behavioral characteristics. And there is large number of scales to find out about these characteristics. So this is like a formal definition based on multiple criteria conception of giftedness. If you would like to think as an alternative, then Gülşah could say that we might use in Turkey, for example, what we call operational definition, because the operational definition depends on what type of tools available in the country. So we have two types, whether we use the formal definition or we use the operational definition.
Thank you so much. Oh, sorry, Gülşah, did you want to add to that?
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So there's I think this year that actually answered a piece of Maria's other question around, you know, how, like, are standard tests enough to identify, but maybe you want to just a little bit more add on to that piece about identification, and are standard tests enough to identify?
Yeah, for the identification, you know, you have to translate the definition into screening and identification process, because then you have two phases. Phase one, that you have to do the screening by employing or by making efficient use of the screening tools. For example, nomination tools or behavioral characteristics scales and so on. So this is phase one. Phase two, you have to employ what we call standardized tools, like the ability tests and the creativity, of course, ability including intelligence and the creativity, and also the achievement test, it should be there. But as you know, most of the countries, they don't have achievement tests. Maybe the only country, or they are very few. Amongst them is the American, you know, in the American culture or based on the American effort. So this when it comes to screening and identification.
Yes, yes, I agree. And also, we some achievement tests, but only we can use these tests the different doctoral or master thesis students. They develop the achievement test for their studies and scientific fields, and but we use the intelligence test more.
Yeah, for Turkey, you know, as Gülşah said, they already managed to develop local tools, because and these local tools, they have all the psychometric characteristics, which means they are reliable, valid, they could be used in the context of the Turkish culture. So because they try to use you know, the opportunity when students studying for MA or PhD programs, that they can develop something that could be employed or used in the Turkish culture.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Okay, so there's a lot of, you know, really ideological questions I feel today about giftedness in general. So there's another one, which is a really good question. So which is more effective, using differentiated instructions in a regular school or keeping the talented learners away and isolated in special schools?
It depends on the I think the schools because we have the both of these kind of schools. We have also the private schools for the gifted and talented students, and we can make differentials and enrichment programs for these schools. And also we have a lot of gifted students in regular classrooms, and we use the differentials programs for these students. For example, in my doctoral thesis, I developed the curriculum for the gifted students, but I use these programs in the regular classroom in the state school, Beyazıt Fort Otosan, and I used all activities for the both of the students, the gifted students. Also, we have the normal students in the same class. And after the we saw the test scores. Both of the students also more successful. So I think it is the depends of the I said the schools stations. So I think we can use the both of them.
Thank you so much. And I think the next question actually ties in really well because it's talking about differentiation. And so our participant is, let me see the name 1 second. Joe Haida is asking, could we have a specific curriculum we could use to help gifted students? We hear a lot about enrichment programs, but could we have samples of specific programs?
Okay. You would like to answer, Gülşah, or I take this?
Okay, you can answer.
Normally, you know, to produce what we call differentiated activities or curricula, we have to employ what we call differentiation, because differentiation, it means a process that we can increase the quality of education, we can increase the quality of content. So whether we use content differentiation or outcomes differentiation or process or environment, and also emotional. So once you produce these enrichment activities, then you know who are the target population. So based on this. So as a sample, and of course, based on this process, you can teach, for example, inquiry-based learning. So you use differentiation in order to strengthen students' ability in the inquiry-based learning or cooperative learning, or teaching for thinking or cooperative thinking, and so on. So there are different approaches, and you can produce the activities based on what we call differentiation. And after that, it could help or come under the umbrella of any approach, whether we call, you know, an interdisciplinary approach, or we teach for productive thinking, and so on. As an example, that you take the topic and then you will employ any type of differentiation to make it better, and to have a certain level of challenge, which is equivalent to the level of achievement and task commitment you have with the child. Because, you know, people, the gifted people, they learn faster than average people. So if they learn faster, that means you have to care about the content and the process of instruction. Of course, the topic is very large topic, or it needs a lot of time, you know, to cover, but this is very brief answer for the question came from Johaida from Saudi Arabia, because I know this lady.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, that is all the questions that we had in the chat. Maybe there's some more, or maybe somebody would like to ask in person. In addition to that, Gülşah, there has been many. Thank you so much. It's been amazing comments.
Thank you so much to patiently listening to me. I hope it has been a useful presentation for all patients. Thank you for this opportunity for me again. Thank you so much.
So if there is no questions, so I would like to conclude this session. And I would like to say many thanks go to my dear friend, Dr. Gülşah, from Istanbul University for her continuous contributions to this field of knowledge in general, and to the ICIE initiatives and projects in particular. And many thanks also go to my friend, colleague, and my right hand, Nana College from Croatia, for coordinating most of the ICIE talks we introduce every now and then. And also many thanks go to the people who attended today's session. It was very informative. So if now you have an idea about what is going on in Turkey, and you can say Turkey is doing much better than most of the countries in the surrounding, because they are committed. They would like to increase the quality of education in general in Turkey, and also to offer the right services and the programs for the gifted people. You can say they are lucky because they have the right support from the government, and as you see, from different institutions. And this is a must. If you are thinking about the success of gifted program, it comes because of the contribution of the government or the national institutions. Otherwise, you could not manage. So many thanks to you, Gülşah, many thanks to you, Nana. And now we will conclude the English part of this talk, and we will continue with the Arabic speaking participants, because we are going to do some reflections and discussion based on what Gülşah introduced. She gave us a lot of food for thought. So yes, she gave us a lot of food for thought. So I will open the platform for the people who are joining us from different Arabic countries also, so to have discussions in another language. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a great one.
Thank you. See you again.
Yeah, see you. اوكي الآن راح نتحول بالعربي. راح أحاول إنه أعطي ملخص سريع للمحاضرة اليوم. طبعا إحنا بنتفهم الظروف إنه كثير من الأشخاص اللي عادة بيشاركوا في هذا النمط من الحوارات أو النمط من المحاضرات عادة يعني بيكون في إقبال أكبر، لكن اليوم نتفهم الظرف العام إنه شهر رمضان، وبنفس الوقت كثير من الناس بتعارض وقت المحاضرة مع ترتيباتهم. بالنسبة لمحاضرة اليوم كان التركيز على أهمية الاستثمار في الموهوبين في تركيا، سواء كان من الناحية الاقتصادية أو من الناحية الاجتماعية. طبعا بيّنت gülşah إنه الاهتمام بالموهوبين له جذور تاريخية، يعني جذور تاريخية من أيام العثمانيين وما بعد. طبعا كانت ملحقة بالمساجد وبالأماكن العامة وحتى في القصور، وكان الغرض الرئيسي من التركيز هو التركيز على الطلاب اللي بيتمتعوا بجملة خصائص وسمات، خاصة السمات اللي بتدلل على درجة من الذكاء، والسمات اللي بتدلل على بعض المهارات القيادية أو الحكمة أو القدرة على حل المشكلات، إلى جانب الأبعاد الروحية. يعني كانت في أبعاد مختلفة بطلق عليها تعبير اسمه إنديرون، يعني هي عبارة عن زوايا ومجالس العلوم اللي كان يبحثوا فيها عن الأذكياء واللي حققوا مجالات نجاح عالية جدا. كانت القصور أيضا تحتضن الموهوبين زي ما ذكرنا، وخاصة في مجالات العلوم والرياضيات. من لما بدأ تأسيس الجمهورية التركية لاحظنا أنه بدأ الجهد الرسمي المنظم يزداد في تخصيص الأموال وفي تخصيص الإمكانات للاستثمار في الطلاب الموهوبين بشكل عام. طبعاً أكدت على مجموعة من النماذج مثل نموذج مدارس أنقرة الثانوية في العلوم اللي بسموها أنقرة ساينس هاي سكولز، فيها تركيز بيكون على العلوم الرياضيات من خلال الإثراء. أيضاً المدارس اللي بتقدم برامج خاصة بالموهوبين في المرحلة الابتدائية. في هناك مدارس أخرى بسموها الأناطوليان هاي سكولز. هاي المدارس بتركز على تدريس اللغات، اللغة الألمانية واللغة التركية بالدرجة الأولى، لأنه مثل ما بتعرفوا تركيا يعني لها أكسس كبير جدا على ألمانيا، وكثير من طلابهم بعد ما يخلصوا من مثل هاي المدارس بيلتحقوا بالجامعات الألمانية في تخصصات مهمة. أيضاً ذكرت مؤسسة، يعني كنت أتمنى أن يكون في مؤسسات مشابهة وعندها قدرة على إدارة رأس المال البشري والمصادر المتاحة، مثل مؤسسة اسمها توبيتاك. توبيتاك تم تأسيسها في 1963، وكان الغرض منها إنه تنظم العمل مع الطلاب الموهوبين على مراحل مختلفة، حتى لما يكونوا في مستوى الجامعة أو في وظائف محددة، لأنه بدهم يعني زخم أو بدهم عدد أكبر من المتخصصين والعلماء في مجالات مختلفة. طبعاً هاي المؤسسة بتوفر المنح وبتوفر الدعم للمدارس والميزانيات الخاصة في غرف المصادر الريسورس رومز وهكذا. أيضاً تم تأسيس مدارس مهتمة بالعلوم والفنون، أو مش مدارس، مراكز للعلوم والفنون تحت إدارة وزارة التربية الوطنية، وهي متاحة للموهوبين وأصدقائهم. طبعاً هاي المراكز بتوفر خدماتها فيما بعد الظهر، بحيث إنه أي شخص من الموهوبين ممكن يلتحق بهاي المراكز للاستفادة منها. المراكز ما بتقبل الطلاب مباشرة من دون تقدم لاختبارات رسمية، يعني اختبارات تحدد إمكانات هذا الشخص وبتساعد على إنه تحدد وين إمكاناته، سواء كان بالنسبة للقدرات أو الاهتمامات. أيضاً المدارس موجود فيها ريسورس رومز اللي هي غرف المصادر، متوافرة في المدارس من مستوى الروضة حتى مستوى الثاني عشر. بتركز على برامج الإثراء، برامج التعلم التعاوني، تعليم التفكير. في مدرسة ذكرتها مدرسة مهمة لأنه موجود لها فرع بجانب جامعة إسطنبول، اسمها يعني أوفاكلار سكول، يعني مدرسة الأفق الجديد. تأسست من 1991. بطبقوا عليهم اختبارات، وإحنا طبقنا عليهم اختبارات إيبوك أيضاً حتى نقيس الإبداع الكامل. بالنسبة للبرامج الأكاديمية في مركزين رئيسيين للتعليم الدراسات العليا في تربية الموهوبين، في جامعة إسطنبول يونيفرسيتي، جامعة إسطنبول اللي هي جامعة تم تأسيس البرنامج من أحد الأصدقاء اسمها أوميت دواسلاجيل. قدمت هذا البرنامج في مراحل بكالوريوس، بعدين بدأ يعطي ماجستير في 2003 ودكتوراه من 2006. جامعة أناضول يونيفرسيتي موجود فيها شخص من أبرز العلماء الأتراك في مجال تربية الموهوبين اسمه أورساك أو أوغور، يعني هم بيرفضوا UGURSAK أوغورساك، بس إحنا بنسميه أورساك. هلا أورساك هو يعني اللي أسس برامج تربية الموهوبين في أناضول يونيفرسيتي، جامعة يعني تعتبر جامعة عريقة. برنامج الموهوبين فيها برنامج قوي. طبعا هذا الشخص أيضا كان مسؤول عن تطوير بعض الأدوات وقوائم الرصد. من أجمل الأفكار اللي بنسمعها دائما لما بنزور برامج الموهوبين في تركيا أو نسمع على متحدثين من تركيا بيتحدثوا عن جامعات الأطفال، طبعا سموها Child University. يعني بذكر لما عملنا مؤتمرنا في 2010 في جامعة إسطنبول، كان من أكبر المؤتمرات، حوالي 750 مشارك، وكان في نفس الفترة موجود التشايلد يونيفرسيتي، يعني الأطفال يلتحقوا بالجامعة، يتعرفوا على مراكزها المختلفة، مختبراتها، كل ما هو متوافر في الجامعة من فاسيليتيز أو إمكانات وبيستفيدوا منها. طبعا الآن موجود 20 جامعة في تركيا بتوفر برامج خاصة بالأطفال. ممكن هاي الفكرة تستقوها أو إنه ممكن تعميمها على كثير من الدول، حيث نتواصل مع الجامعات ونقترح عليها عمل برامج صيفية أو برامج ما بعد الظهر للطلاب الموهوبين في المناطق المحيطة، لأن وجود هذا النمط من البرامج بيعزز مكانة الجامعة في المحيط، وبنفس الوقت الجامعة بتخدم هذا المحيط وموجوداته من البشر والمؤسسات. طبعا بنلاحظ أنه ركزت أيضا على الخدمات اللي يمكن تقديمها لأولياء الأمور فيما يتصل بالاستراتيجيات، تعريفهم بطرق التدريس المختلفة، برامج اللي بقدموها للأطفال، احتياجاتهم المختلفة وهكذا. أيضا كان من التركيز على برامج إعداد المعلمين، برامج إعداد المعلمين أثناء الخدمة أو قبل الخدمة، وهي ذكرت طبعا هي الكاباسيتي بيلدينج بروجرامز. بالنسبة للأسئلة لاحظتوا أنه الأسئلة كانت متنوعة، منها ما يدور حول تعريف مفهوم الموهبة، منها ما يدور حول معنى الإثراء، اللي هو الإثراء طبعا آلية يعني تستخدم في الارتقاء بمستوى المادة التعليمية حيث أنها تناسب مستويات الطلاب الموهوبين. طبعا احنا بنتبنى دائما تعريف متعدد المعايير، تعريف بيشير للقدرات، بيشير للإبداع الكامل، مستوى التحصيل، جملة الخصائص السلوكية اللي بتميز الموهوب. طبعا أحيانا الأشخاص ممكن يخلطوا بين الموهبة ومجالات التفوق أو الموهبة ومجالات الإبداع، وبنلاحظ إنه الناس في اللغة اللي بيستخدموها بقول لك مواهب. إحنا ما بنستخدم مواهب، بنستخدم موهبة فقط. هي موهبة لكن قد يكون مرتبط فيها مجالات تفوق وقد يكون مرتبط فيها مجالات إبداع، لكن الموهبة واحدة. السؤال اللي لفت انتباهي أيضاً إنه أيها أفضل، تقديم الإثراء وخدمات تربية الموهوبين في المدرسة العادية أم إنه نأخذ الموهوبين في مدارس خاصة بالموهوبين؟ في هناك تيارين. دائما لما ألتقي مع يعني جمهور واسع السؤال هذا بيطرح نفسه باستمرار، لكن على الرغم من أهمية السؤال في عندنا تيارين. تيار بيقوده رنزولي وأمثاله إنه لا، يجب أن يكون تقديم خدمات الموهوبين في إطار المدرسة العادية، إما في صورة صف خاص بالموهوبين في المدرسة العادية، أو برامج نهاية الأسبوع، أو برامج ما بعد الظهر في المدرسة العادية. يعني بمعنى إنه المدرسة العادية هي الإطار العام لتقديم خدمات الموهوبين. لكن أنا من تيار آخر ليؤمن بضرورة وجود مدارس خاصة بالموهوبين، يعني يكون المعلمين بتم انتقائهم على أسس محددة، والطلاب أيضاً بتم تشخيصهم كطلاب موهوبين. بيكون هون نوع من التجانس في مجتمع المدرسة الخاصة بالموهوبين. هاي بشكل عام المحاضرة، والآن نفتح المجال للحوار أو النقاش. في الدكتور محمد رافع عيد، تفضل.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. أشكرك دكتور تيسير والمحاضرة الكريمة، ولو أنه طبعا التوقيت عندنا فارق المغرب يعني الآن ولكن مبارك عليكم الشهر. موضوع الإبداع والمبدعين والمبتكرين هذا موضوع شائك. ليه؟ لأنه الآن تقريبا في معظم المراحل، في معظم يعني أنا حتى لي كتاب في الإبداع والأداء حكم مجال عملي، ولكن دوما المعضلة أين يحتضن هذا المبدع سواء صغير أو كبير في السن، لأنه الإبداع زي ما قلنا في بعضه قدرات فطرية وفي بعضه لا، يجي بالخبرات التراكمية وبالعوامل المحيطة. وأنا سويت استبيان على 100 حالة من العلماء، فاتضح أنه 70% معظمها عبارة عن تراكمات وتجارب أكثر مما هو فطري أو هو عبقرية أو زي ما تقول يورثها. خلينا نقول لو وزعناها الابتكار والإبداع جزء يتوارثه وجزء فطري وجزء أيضا من التجارب ومن المهارات وهذه الأمور. فللأسف لأنه 70% تشكل المهارات، فلا بد من وجود حاضنات. تقريبا في معظم، خلينا نقول مش بس بالوطن العربي، حتى بالشرق بمجمله مشاكلنا إنه المبدعين لا يجدون حاضنات تتولاهم. زي ما قلت دكتورنا العزيز هناك مدارس خاصة، ولكن أحيانا في داخل المدارس والبسيطة والعادية يعني يوجد بها أقل المقومات التعليم، ولكن هناك عباقرة. ولكن السؤال لابد، أو خلينا نقول نضع يدنا على موضع الألم، لابد من حاضنات تكتشفهم وتتولى أمر الاهتمام بهم. وشكرا دكتورنا العزيز.
تسلم. شكرا على المداخلة وعلى السؤال. هلا بالنسبة للدول المتقدمة ومن ضمنها طبعا ألمانيا، التعليم مجاني ومتاح للجميع، وبنفس الوقت في تربية نوعية. يعني بمعنى إنه المدرسة تعتبر مسؤولية من مسؤوليات المجتمع ومؤسساته، بتوفر فيها كل المصادر المطلوبة، وبالتالي يعني الطالب يجد فرصة للانتفاع بالتربية النوعية بسبب إنه النظام القائم يدعم هذا التوجه. يعني بمعنى إنه التربية مثل الصحة تماماً هي مسؤولية مجتمعية، مسؤولة عنها الحكومات، مسؤولة عنها المؤسسات المختلفة حتى أنها توفر هاي الخدمات. هلأ مشكلة كثير من الدول العربية بتكمن في إنه موضوع الموهبة والإبداع مهمل نوعاً ما. نسبة الموهوبين والمبدعين مثل ما تفضلت هم موجودين طبعاً في كل الأماكن، ونسبتهم لا تقل عن 3% وقد تصل إلى 10 وأكثر نوعاً ما، يعني لو قلنا 3 إلى 10%. لكن مشكلتنا بتكمن إنه لا يوجد حاضنات، لا يوجد برامج، لا يوجد تشخيص، لا يوجد متخصصين. لما يكون أنت بتفتقر لهاي العناصر المختلفة بتكون لا يمكن وجود برامج تربية موهوبين. هلا في بعض الدول حاولت وما زالت بتحاول، وبنقول يعني مشكورين إنهم بيحاولوا بتقديم أي جهد في هذا الاتجاه أكيد رح ينفع مستقبلاً. لكن المشوار طويل، بيحتاج كنوع من التأسيس والتركيز. نقطة أو الأساس اللي مفقود بشكل رئيسي هو عدم وجود أجندة وطنية، وهي دائما نتحدث عنها، يعني ناشونال أجندة وطنية. هلا في بعض الدول بدأت بشكل منظم، يعني مثلا إذا أخذنا عمان، أخذنا بالسعودية بعض المناطق وبعض المؤسسات، قطر مثلا، الإمارات، الأردن، مصر لحد الآن الصورة مش واضحة، العراق أيضا الصورة مش واضحة، لبنان في جهد أيضا في هذا الاتجاه. يعني بتقدر تبني على هاي التجارب، أو الكويت بالتأكيد، لكن بنحتاج للمزيد. هلا بالنسبة للدول الأخرى زي ما بتلاحظ تركيا، كثير من الجهات منخرطة في تأسيس برامج الموهوبين، ولما يكون في عندك تعدد بالتأكيد بصير في تنوع بالخدمات وأشكال البرامج. لكن نحتاج فعلا لأجندة وطنية حتى نستطيع أن نوصل للهدف المطلوب. للأسف غالبية الموهوبين بيشعروا باغتراب في مجتمعاتهم في المراحل العمرية المختلفة، وهذا الاغتراب طبعا بيدفعهم بالبحث عن البديل. طبعا البديل بيكون في مراكز الاستقطاب. يعني العالم الآن منقسم إلى مراكز جذب واستقطاب ومراكز طرد. يعني أول الفئات المستهدفة بتكون هي فئات الموهوبين والمبدعين، أو الموهوبين واللي عندهم قدرات إبداعية. طيب، في أي سؤال آخر؟ أوكي، يبدو إنه ما في أسئلة. آسفين يعني على التوقيت، لكن إن شاء الله في المرات القادمة بيكون يعني التوقيت أنسب للكل، ويعطيكم العافية، شكرا جزيلا.
يعطيك العافية دكتور.
يعطيكم العافية.